Joining us at the beach today is Roy Jones Jr.
One of the greatest boxers of all time. He recently beat Paul Vasquez at the age of 46, and he's got a fitness DVD coming out called 10 Rounds. Let's talk to Roy a little bit.
He's still fighting?
Yes.
Roy, how would you explain your life before boxing? What was your upbringing, your youth like?
Well, my life before boxing was a country boy. I used to raise pigs, cows, chickens, kept a dog, had a few horses. I was a country kid before I started boxing.
Can you explain to us your relationship with your father? It seems complicated. He helped you a lot, he worked with you a lot, and then at one point you had to say, hey, not anymore. Like, how do you explain that relationship?
It's just different. You grow up, and once you grow up, if a person can't grow with you, then you grow away from them. My father was a great father, taught me a lot of things, taught me pretty much everything I ever learned about life at an early age, gave me the best foundation in boxing that a person ever could give someone. But then once you get to be a grown-up, you have to learn how to treat me and respect me as a grown-up. If you can't respect me, then it's best that I leave, or I have to start fighting and doing things to get my respect. And you don't want to have to do that with your own parents, so it's best just to get away from them.
What would you say the last conversation was like about that, where you were done, where it was the last drop in the bucket overflowed, and you're like, that's it, we're done, I can't do this anymore?
No, I had a dog that I borrowed from a friend to breed. A friend of mine let the dog loose. The dog bit my sister, but they got him off of my sister. They took her home. She was okay, didn't hurt her really bad. A couple bruise marks on her arm. My father come to my house, I wasn't there, and just killed the dog. And it's like, that did it for me.
So what happened after that? I mean, all of that sounds horrible. What, like, you just told him that's it? That's not, I'm the adult here. I make those choices, not you.
That's right. So I'm out, because next time you come my yard to kill something, be ready to die with it. So that was it for me.
Damn, Roy. Like, I mean, that's, that you're speaking of that in a very, cold, concise way, but like, it was like that? That was the end?
That was it.
When's the last time Roy Jones Jr. feared a man?
Probably when I was about 16. I was fighting in a tournament, and I saw a guy who was pretty big, looked pretty angry. I was like, whoa, this guy might be able to beat me. Didn't happen.
Well, did you ever fear your father?
Yeah, I feared my father for a long time, up until I got about 16. And when I got 16, I started realizing that, I got to get away, because if I don't, something bad gonna happen.
This is kind of personal, but can you explain to us the reasons? I mean, your father was really tough on you, right?
Yeah, of course. And I gotten, it's like there have been days when they talk about abuse and all that. Now, I laugh at those things, and like when they got on Adrian Peterson about that, it's like I was like, really? Are y'all serious? I mean, everybody can make a mistake here now. My father did that way worse than that, not making the mistake he did on purpose. My father was different with that. I have gotten beaten 3 times in one day. Some of it I could have been innocent, some of it I wasn't, but still, you got beaten sometimes 3 times in that same day. I have marks on my arms now that are from beatings that I got when I was a kid. You understand me? I got real beatings. So of course that's gonna make you afraid of a person. When you're a kid and a grown-up is beating you that bad, of course you're afraid. But once you get a certain age, you say, okay, now it's time to fight back. And then when I got to that age, it was like, okay, that's enough. I ain't taking too much more. And then when I got grown, I was like, nah, I really ain't taking nothing.
Well, you said you feared him until you were 16. 16
Yeah,
is when you fought back
16.
against him?
Huh?
Was 16 when you fought back?
Well, 16, I started making my own presence. It wasn't that I was going to fight back. I wasn't going for the fight back. I was going for the kill.
What was the explanation, Roy? I mean, did you ever get one, or did you ever ask? Did you ever?
Never got one, never asked. That's the thing. You never learn to talk. See, that's the problem that a lot of parents make. If you never learn to talk to your kid and respect his opinion, or at least hear his side, then you'll never learn to treat him as an adult. And that's what happened in my case. My father never learned to treat me as an adult.
Are you angry at him for that?
No,
like,
not at all. That's his loss. I mean, we don't talk now, but that's his loss. I don't want to be like that with none of my kids, but that's his loss. If you don't learn to talk to your kid as an adult, then you can't have an adult relationship with your kid. So we don't have an adult relationship because he never learned to talk to me as an adult. So it's cool. Not my loss, it's his loss.
But you don't hold the beatings against him? Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to me?
No, I don't hold the beatings, because the beatings did teach me some things. It taught me that when you do things that are wrong, there are consequences.
Roy, what can you tell us about your confrontation with Fat Joe? Do you remember the particulars about that confrontation?
No, just I don't really remember that well. I just know that, you know, we had different confrontations behind the song. I thought me and Joe was cool, and he put my name in a song in somewhat of a bad way. And I was like, wow, really, that's how we gonna roll? You know, I thought we was better than that. You know, he's like, no, it's not bad. You know, first he was like, it's just a song. I said, no, it ain't just no song. This me and you. You know, I thought we was better than that. You know, then he was like, no, you right, my bad. No, and it won't happen again. I was like, all right, we cool with that. But, you know, I ain't just, you know, I do fight for a living. And then sometimes you lose it. And I think I kind of got upset because I thought he was a friend of mine. Being that was at a time that I was having a bad era in my career, it was kind of a touchy subject. So to do that and have it come from a guy who I thought or looked upon as a friend kind of bothered me. So that, once again, though, you're almost willing to die for it because I know you had guys with 55, 60 guns around at that time. And if they kill me, okay. But I get my point proved. My point would be proved before I die. And that was all that meant to me.
Because he said that you were forced to lean back, which is something I imagine that Roy Jones didn't want somebody saying. So you're saying you would have talked to him about it, and he said that, oh, my bad, I didn't mean anything by it. Because there's a bunch of different stories about how that went.
Well, first he was like, you know, it's just a song. I'm like, no, it ain't just a song. You know, but then when I said it, I guess he kind of understood me because he was like, you know what, my bad, you know, it's cool. You know, we good. I won't do it no more. And it wasn't like, you know, like I said, I know he had guys with him that had guns. He was ready to defend himself, and I wasn't tripping about that. As long as I got him, I didn't care about the rest of the guys. They could have got me too, so it would have happened that way. And you got to bring it to get it sometime, but I was willing to die for it. So.
All right, wow. Okay, so he says in his song that your face looks like the devil. You're ready to fight. You're ready to die, and he's telling you, I got the terror squad behind me. They've got weapons, and you are literally ready to die. He
didn't tell me nothing. I already knew that when I came in the building. I knew the terror squad was there. I knew they was all, you know, weaponed up. I wasn't tripping. I already knew that. Okay, and?
What do you mean, and, Roy? I understand, but that it's still, all of it is crazy. All of it is nuts.
Yeah, when you're young, you do crazy things sometimes, and that was probably a crazy thing that I did. But, you know, for me, for what I stood for at the time, you know, it's like I just didn't roll like that, you know. I didn't think that was right. I didn't think your friends do you like that, so.
You saw the fear in Fat Joe's eyes, didn't you? You saw it. You saw it. You still see it. Yeah,
it's
that's
not
an
like
answer.
That, you know.
He don't scare you easy.
We cool. Me and Fat Joe good friends now. We cool, so it's over with.
Roy, thank you for the time, sir. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. All right.